Hello everyone, George Packard, and I'm going to tell you one of the funniest jokes I ever heard. Guy says, I'm self-educated. I went to public school. Get it? Public school, self-educated. Never mind. All right, moving on. I'm going to tell you a great story here, so please stay tuned to the very end so you can learn a very important lesson. All right. In public school, they really don't teach you about business. They don't teach you much about that at all. If you're lucky and you are fortunate enough that you make a lot of money and you can get into some college somewhere or some tech school and learn about business, good for you. If not, you're going to get the good old-fashioned George Packard treatment, which is self-education, and that's what I'm about to show you. All right? So, today I'm going to try and teach you a little bit about running a business. Well, there's many aspects to running a business. There's a few that are critical, okay? Number one, you need to pick something you think you might like. For example, if I have zero interest in running a wood mill to make lumber, it would be silly for me to get into that business unless I really enjoy working with lumber. It might be a fantastic fit for me. I don't know. You may not even know till you get into that business. There's been several businesses I've tried. I've tried roofing, I've tried working as a plumber and things like that. Some things I just didn't like. I worked in a wood manufacturing place and I realized I didn't like standing in one spot doing that repetitive work all the time. So I'm glad that I got out of it. One of the best things I ever did. Now, once you find a business that you like or you think you might like, learn all you can about it. Do your homework, okay? So, what I mean by do your homework, study everything you can about that business. Study, okay, how many people are out here? Study your marketing. Do it before you even get into marketing, which you do need to study very intensely, you need to look around and see how many guys are doing it. Look at the competition. Now, if there's already 10 guys, let's just use lawn care as an example. If there's already 10 guys out there in your community doing it, and you have a community of 10,000 people, it's probably not a good idea to get into that because you're probably not going to make much money. Now, on the other hand, if you get into a bigger area where there's hundreds of thousands of people, well, then you can just dive right in just like everybody else, and now it becomes a marketing game. Okay? So, the next thing is you got to get good at what you're doing. Once you do all your homework, you start your business up, you need to get good at it. How do you get good at it? You need to focus. You need to focus on every aspect of your business, and this takes time. You're not going to learn it overnight. But I look at it this way. There's so much information out there to be had right now. No reason you can't learn about it. There's no reason you can't go on YouTube and learn about it. No reason you can't go on the internet and learn about it. Go to your library and learn about it. Talk to other people. There's a million ways to learn. So today, there's more ways to learn today than there ever was. Okay? So, a good example might be anybody can start a lawn care business, but very few will make a good business out of it. Okay? Get that. Very few will make a good business out of it. All right? So, being good at what you do, that helps you make a good business out of it. All right? If you're bad at what you do, you better get better or just get out of the way because somebody's going to put you out of the way. All right? Otherwise. Set goals. Set goals as to what you'd like to accomplish in your business, okay? Without goals, you're not going anywhere. If you stay in that stagnant water, if you just stay in the same spot and you never try to learn or you never try to advance yourself, you're slowly going to die in that business, okay? Your business will probably die. You need to set goals and just keep striving to get them. So it might be, say, lawn care, for example. You might start out with 10 clients this year because it's your first year or something, and your goal might be, I want to double it next year. And the next year you might want to say, well, I want to double that. And just continue to go on. And that's how you build on these companies, okay? You got to have goals, otherwise you're going nowhere. All right. This is a very critical part. Seek out the support of your significant other. Here's a prime example. I'm going to use my marriage, and I'm going to use a friend of mine's marriage. This friend of mine, let's talk about my marriage first. Whatever I wanted to do, 99% of the time, my wife has been behind me, okay? She has been behind me. She has been beside me. She has been right there with me every step of the way. Whether she had faith in me or not, she loved me, and so she stuck with me, and she's like, look, I'm going to support you for better or for worse, so let's just hope for the best. Okay? Fantastic. Got a great woman there, right? All right. Buddy of mine had a woman that fought him tooth and nail. Every time he tried to start a business and get something going, she was always, oh, that's never going to work. She was always so negative. Oh, you don't want to do that. They're going to sue you. So on and so forth. And this just keeps happening and happening and happening. So finally, they never did anything. They never did anything. And they end up almost broke because of it. Okay? So it's extremely important to make sure that your significant other is behind you. Even if you got to set them down and say, look, I want to make a good life for you and I. This is my plan. What do you think? Here's the stats. This is what I found out. This is what guys are making in it. Might not get rich, but we might make a decent living. Or maybe we could put on this lawn care business as a subsidized business, like George did when he started out. He worked at Kmart and then he turned around and mowed lawns on the side. So anything like that, just get them on board. Because if they're not on board with you, they will fight you, they will bring you down, and in the end, you will not have anything. You'll be miserable, just miserable. So get them on your side. All right. Never think you know it all, okay? Always try to learn new things. Prime example of this is technology. If you don't keep up with technology, you'll be left in the dust. And here's what I mean by that. So I can remember when I started out and I only had a few lawn accounts, and then I can remember when I got into the hundreds of accounts. If I had to sit there, and as they change all the time, like you get new ones, you lose some, people die, move away, whatever, there's a million reasons for losing them. As you gain new customers and you lose new customers, that's a constant revolving door of addresses and areas. If you're, one guy's over here and he's in this part of town, and here's a whole nother town, and there's another one here we just lost, and now we picked another one up here, and now we just lost that one. It's a freaking nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare when you get bigger to try and keep all of those in order, okay? Technology has made it easier now. Technology has it where they'll automatically throw these people into a route for you at the click of a button. The other cool thing about technology, they can invoice these people. There's no more me coming home at night saying, okay, I mowed them on this day. Now it's the end of the month. Now I'm going to write down how many lawn mowings I gave them, put it in an envelope, fill out all the information on the envelope, lick the stamp, slap it on there, take it out, stick them in the mailbox, and wait for my money to come. Now, as soon as the job is done, they're invoiced, the money is on its way to my bank, and it's to my bank within minutes. Just a couple clicks of a button, okay? So much better. So, therefore, if I had continued to grow my business and I didn't utilize technology, for example, I would have had to hire somebody to sit there and lick stamps and route and this, that, and the other. I don't have to do that anymore. Everything is automated, okay? So, that makes a difference between making a profit and not making a profit a lot of times. If you got to hire an office girl to come in there, you got to pay her $50,000 a year. You may have just lost your profit for the year. You follow me? All right. So that being said, stay on top of your technology. Constantly evolve with things, okay? Don't stay stagnant. Just keep moving. All right. Now, another thing. Save your money to invest in other opportunities. And I cannot emphasize this enough for you, okay? You really, truly need to save money so that you can put it towards something else. Here's prime examples. You guys have heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it again. When I first started out, we did the lawn mowing. It made a little bit of money, but we took that little bit of money and we saved what we could of it, and it wasn't much, but we saved it. When I worked for Kmart, we saved that little bit of money, and then eventually it became a little bit more money, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then pretty soon I could buy a new mower, and the next thing you know, I got 2 mowers, and the next thing you know, we have computers, and it just went on and on and on and on, if you can only imagine. You can't get there if you're spending the money as fast as you're making it, okay? I watched a guy in Appleton, Wisconsin, who had a massive landscape company, massive. When I walked in to that building, and the only reason I walked into this building is because they were having an auction and I was there to buy some of his equipment. This was a young guy. He was in his mid-20s. He had a multi-million-dollar company. He got so big, so fast, he lost it all. He lost it all. The recession kicked in, and when the recession kicked in, he had all his eggs in one basket. Nobody was landscaping anymore. He had all this equipment. He still had to pay the bank back for all of this stuff in this fancy office. I remember walking into his office and he had like he had oak desks everywhere, or cherry desks, very, very expensive. There's no fake plywood stuff there. They were very expensive, top of the line desks that were, I think he said just 2 or 3 of those desks cost him like $4,000 or $5,000 a piece. I'm like, what is wrong with you? But he was young. He was young and he was foolish, and that's what happened. So save your money to invest it into other things. Don't get too big too fast, okay? Take your time. Don't worry, there's plenty of time, but focus on growth. If I got to tell you anything, focus on growth, okay? Now, here's another thing. Treat your people well. They will become your biggest assets. Without good people, you'll be very limited on growth. Having good people surrounding you makes all the difference, and bad people will destroy your company, okay? And I mean this with all sincerity. It's people first. You've got to have good people around you and behind you. I know I have a good team of people behind me that I could walk away and go fishing today, and I know that they would take care of business and they would do everything that's supposed to be done. On the other hand, there's a bunch of people beneath them that I wouldn't trust walking my dog. So surround yourself with the good people as you begin growing your business. Just obviously, a lot of you guys, especially in lawn care, are going to start out doing it yourself. Make sure your wife is behind you, okay? That's your first person, and you should be able to trust her and move on past that, okay? Then pretty soon you're going to hire another guy, then another guy. And you'll hit disappointments. You'll hit a lot of rough roads as you go through life in any business. I look at business like this, and this is probably a whole nother topic for another day, but you can either work for somebody else or work for yourself. You're going to have headaches. When I worked at Kmart, I still had headaches. I still brought them home. I still felt like if there was employee theft going on, I needed to be there. Even if it was my off time, I would go in there because I really, truly was passionate about my job, okay? At the end of the day, 13 years later, they fired every loss control manager in the company because they were hurting, they were struggling, and that was one of the first professions of the company that was to go, okay? So, that being said, it taught me a very valuable lesson, and that lesson, I tell it today, and I will continue to tell it, is I will never again let corporate America or anyone else decide my future, okay? So, don't be afraid to take chances. Do you know why some companies get big while others fail? It's generally they showed up, they took the risks, and they paid their dues. These companies started somewhere. They didn't all just happen to get off the boat and they were given $1 million company unless their daddy was rich or something like that. They generally showed up. They went after the work. They're go-getters. They're hustlers. They're out there trying to make it happen, and you need to do that in your business as well. All right. Are you going to get knocked down? Absolutely, you're going to get knocked down. From time to time, even today, and I've been in business for probably 25 years now, even today, I get knocked down. The most important thing is what really matters is getting up, getting back in the fight. Don't sit there and take it. Learn from it and move on, okay? Learn from what just happened. Never let it happen again to you. Do everything in your power. This is one thing that I guess I can't overemphasize to you. Learn from your mistakes. I can't tell you how many times I must be dense or something because I would make the same mistakes. I would hire guys that I liked their personality and I would bring them on board, and I didn't care what their background was. Maybe I should have been looking more into their background, saying like, you know what? This guy hasn't held a job for more than 3 months his entire life. That should be an automatic giveaway to you that I don't care how much you like this guy, he's probably not going to be with you for more than 3 months because that's his track record, So the school of hard knocks, it seems like I got to keep getting hit in the head all the time before I realize, hey, dummy, how many times are you going to make that mistake? Well, I've heard this guy has a bad drinking problem. Well, if that's what you heard, and he works for you and you smell liquor on his breath, don't just turn the other cheek and walk away and say, oh, that must have been me. Maybe it was mouthwash from brushing his teeth this morning. Nope. Start watching. He's probably drinking liquor, okay? If he is, he gets the boot. You get the idea, all right? So, anyways, 3 types of people, you guys. Those who work for someone. Let me illustrate this. You either work for someone else, or you work for yourself, right? Or the third one, you don't work for anybody. No one. Who is that guy? You know who this guy is? We call them a bum. Bum. Say it with me. Those guys are bums. Yep, I usually like to tack on the word welfare bum on there, but I'm just going to leave it this way so nobody attacks me. They're just bums, okay? Hopefully, you will never be this guy. I don't care if you work for somebody else or not. I work for other people, had a great time, I enjoyed it. When I started working for myself, was the best thing I ever did. Best thing I ever did. It opened up my entrepreneurial spirit, and it allowed me to see what I could actually do. My big problem with working for someone else, you have to do it, especially to start out with, to make some kind of money. You've got to make some kind of money, otherwise you have no money to invest, to save, to invest into something else, right? So get your game plan started. If you're working for someone right now and you really want to have your own business, then get started. Get started saving your money. This is called paying your dues. Paying your dues when you're working for somebody else, okay? You're slowly building. But the difference between you and the other 10 guys that are working for that company, the other 10 guys probably aren't going anywhere. They're probably going to continue working for someone else their entire life, because that's what people do. 99% of the people prefer working for someone else. This blows me away. They think there's no risk in that. Well, when I worked for Kmart for 13 years and they called me in the day after Christmas one year and fired me, that taught me a valuable lesson. There is no job security in working for someone else. Remember that. No job security working for someone else. Is there security in working for yourself? Yeah, because if this doesn't work, I'm going to get into something else. Or I might go work for someone else for a while just to get money to get into something else. Is there a future in this? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it seems like it's more and more being turned into bums. There's so many of them out there now. Nobody wants to work. Everybody's entitled. I don't even want to get into that. Anyway, I hope that this video has been helpful to you guys. And those of you who don't work at all, shame on you. Just shame on you. Hope you liked the video. Please leave your comments down below. I always like hearing from you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.